I want to introduce you to an amazing, amazing couple. They have just been named the hottest event keynote speakers of 2018. And that includes, the likes of Mark Cuban and Cochran and Magic Johnson and everybody else you can think of. They are motivational speakers, I guess, but really the motivation, I think, just comes from the way they live their life. Chris Norton, Emily Norton, author of The 7 Longest Yards. Welcome to the program. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
So anybody who doesn't know you, tell me what the 7 longest yards are.
Yeah, so the 7 longest yards, it came from this goal that I set that I'm going to walk Emily 7 yards down the aisle of our wedding side by side, which, listening, you probably think that should be easy. Mm-hmm. Well, in 2010, as a 18-year-old kid, I was playing college football. And I was running down to make the tackle, and I see the opening, just a routine tackle, but I mistimed my jump just by a split second. And so instead of getting my head in front of the ball carrier, my head collides right with his legs. And instantly, I lose all feeling and movement from my neck down. And I was given a 3% chance to ever regain any feeling or movement back below the neck after suffering a severe spinal cord injury, which at the time, I felt like my life was over. And eventually, it led to meeting Emily and then setting this goal that we're going to walk down the aisle for a wedding. And actually, the walk down the aisle ended up being the easiest part of our journey.
And your journey, you guys met 3 years after,
we did.
Right? And you went through some dark times as well. Tell me about that.
Yeah. So after college, I went through a dark time of depression and suffering with anxiety. And I've always had just a big passion and a heart for helping kids who have been abused, neglected, without families. Just had this big passion for kids in foster care and struggling with those things. So I always took that on my own shoulders and had this responsibility that it was my responsibility to help these kids. And instead of letting it out, I kept it in. And it really wore on me. I started not caring as much, stopped feeling, and just started losing me. Honestly, I thought I would never be me again. Like I thought I was gone. Emily was gone forever. No hope. And I suffered for way longer than I should have because I was very against getting help. I felt like I had to do it myself.
Yeah.
Very independent. Felt like if I got help, that was weakness and that.
It's crazy.
It is. Yeah.
When you change that one viewpoint, that it is a strength to ask for help, not weakness, everything changes in your life.
100%.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it was. Being able to just come to that realization that you have to ask for help. You have to depend on God. There's nothing wrong with that. And it does. It takes more strength to ask for help and admit like something's going on and it shouldn't be. But another thing that was holding me back from help was I didn't think that I could be depressed. Why would I be depressed? Never gone through anything difficult, right? So I didn't understand it at all. I understood that other people who went through hard things could get depressed. But for me, like I had this, there's no way, that doesn't make sense. So I just kept pushing through it and don't like being vulnerable. And so I shoved it all inside, all of the things that just create a disaster and so much more struggles than I should have been. And it lasted for a few years because of those views that I was
And where were
holding on
you
to.
in that recovery when you two met online?
Yeah. So that was before any of this started. I was at a really good place when we met online. And it was actually right after the graduation walk that it really hit me. I had some signs before, but we stayed so busy with working hard and focusing on the graduation walk. But after the graduation walk and after it went viral, when everything was going so great, I went down and I hit the bottom with where I was at.
Tell me about the graduation walk.
Yeah, so this was the first big goal of mine. After my injury, I set the goal, I want to walk across the stage on my college graduation. Didn't know how I was going to do it, but I was going to work as hard as I possibly could each and every day. And I told Emily about this goal when we first met, and she was just as excited as this goal as I was. And she became my personal trainer, my best personal trainer that I've ever had. And we just worked relentlessly for this walk across the stage, which I thought in my mind, I got to walk as fast as I can so I don't get booed off the stage and people are like checking the clock, like it's hot in the gym. Like graduations are long. And I'm like, oh man, I gotta book it across there. And so when we start going across the stage, this a roar of just cheering and clapping. And then I finally get across and I look out in the whole room. Everyone's crying. I just couldn't believe the reaction, the response. And then eventually that video goes viral and it just takes.
People are still crying every time they see it.
Yeah.
I'm about crying with just hearing you saying it. Now, so you guys didn't just get through your own little struggles. You have taken 17. How old are you?
26.
27.
27.
27. You have had 17 foster kids and adopted 5?
Yes, we have.
The hell is wrong with you?
Yeah. 5 girls.
You really haven't recovered from hitting that guy's leg.
No, I haven't. Yeah. Right. Maybe I had a brain injury too.
Right. 17 and adopted 5.
We have. Yeah, we love it. And I mean, when we first started, we're like, we'll take 1 kid. And got a different plan and kept stretching us. And it's become both of our passions. And we love just being able to help kids in these hard situations know they're loved, they're special. God has an amazing plan. And it takes a lot of work. There's a lot of hard moments, but when you can just stay there and show the kids they're not alone. So many of the struggles I went through helped me to know how to help the kids and to how to be there so that they don't feel alone. And when they're trying to push you away, to push back harder. But it's been absolutely amazing.
I have a 15-year-old son who I'm having a heck of a time with right now. Mm-hmm. And it's the hardest thing I've ever done is raise my son. Mm-hmm. And just no matter how hard he pushes back to be there.
Yeah.
That's 1. And look at me. I'm 23. Yeah, I mean, it's insane. How do you push through it with 17 and 5 now adopted?
Yeah.
Emily's like Wonder Woman without the cape. Like she just like, the more kids we get, the more energy she has. Like, I don't know how she does it, but I mean, I'll never forget the first time she's like, when we say like, hey, 1 child, like under the age of 2. And she's like, Chris, what about 2? I'm like, kids. I'm like, no way we can do 2 kids. That's insane. And then eventually we worked our way up to 7. But you just like, when you take on more than what you think you can handle, that's when you can realize your potential. And so we just keep finding out that the more we take on, you just figure it out. And you just do it.
Yeah. And I mean, I would say a big thing too is not taking it on your shoulders. What I learned when I went through the depression, like I learned to depend on God and put everything on Him instead of keeping it on myself. Because you have to meet the kids where they are, but then to not let it bring you down, but instead like feel enough where you can still get into action and do every single thing you can every single day and let go of what's out of your control.